Let's talk about the Atlanta Falcons here. Mitchell Renz from Chat Sports, and could they potentially be trading down in the 2021 NFL Draft? I'll tell you what, I love this time of the year because it is all draft rumors, SZN, and the more rumors I get, the happier I am. So there's a report out there. The Falcons, they're open to trading the number 4 pick. The Falcons apparently have been getting tons of calls about trading back in the NFL Draft, right? We all know this. Jags, Jets, 49ers, that's totally set in stone. The other reason why this is at least interesting to me is because anytime you see a little bit of disconnect from maybe a head coach or an owner or offensive coordinator, anytime you see disconnect, that's when some rumors start popping up. And apparently there's a debate over who the Falcons should take at number 4. I know there's always that saying where there's smoke, there's fire. I don't really know if there's a lot of fire here. Now, do I think some teams could be interested in going up to 4? Yes, I do. But could the Falcons also just be leaking the fact that teams are really interested in going up and trading for a pick just because they don't know who they want to ultimately pick at number 4? Yes, I do think it's something to definitely talk about. So what we're going to be breaking down on today's show is this. I'm going to give you guys 5 teams that I think could trade up with the Atlanta Falcons to pick number 4. Plus, I'm going to be breaking down what that trade would look like, and I'm going to tell you some players that I think could be potentially on the board for the Falcons when they do decide to trade back. So the first team we're going to be bringing up here, it is the Detroit Lions at pick number 7. I'm not ranking these in any type of way. I'm simply just going to go in the draft order that they're going to be in, okay? So the Detroit Lions are at number 7. So the trade idea that I cooked up here, and I made sure all these trades were fair according to the NFL trade market sheet. It basically tells you how much pick each is worth. So the Falcons, they get pick number 7. They also get 72 overall, and since right now one of the biggest needs for Atlanta is corner, why not go ahead and get Amani, and his last name I always struggle with, but for the Lions, you also just went out and signed Quinton Dunbar. So you could have Quinton Dunbar, you have Jeff Okudah, those are your top 2 starters, and if there's a player that you really want, maybe a quarterback, I know they already went out and got Jared Goff, he ain't the future, let's just be real, but let's say you want somebody like a Justin Fields. You can make that deal happen. So this is what I really thought really made a lot of sense. So what do you think here, y'all? Will the Falcons trade back from number 4? Do you think all the reports out there, they're just BS, they're just smoke, there's no fire to it? Or are you like, you know what? I think there's a lot of truth here. I think that this is a realistic possibility. So will the Falcons trade back from number 4? Why for yes or and for no? So let's just say they do trade back, because what I want to be able to do, instead of just saying, okay, here's the trade, here are the picks. Well, I mean, if you're going to trade back, you better have some people in mind, right? So here are the top players that I think could be potentially there. I don't know if Kyle Pitts is 100% going to be there, but I am confident in this. If you trade back to 7, one of these 5 players will be there. Whoever you think is that best player, I probably would say Penei Sewell. They might not go that route. If you still want to take a quarterback like Fields or Trey Lance, that's an option. Kyle Pitts would be a great fit there. It might not be the biggest need for Atlanta. Rashawn Slater, Penei Sewell, a lot of different options, though, there at number 7. Let's go to the next team here on my list of potential trade-down partners for the Atlanta Falcons. You got the Denver Broncos, and I just want to throw this out there as well. I'm not just going to do picks. I wanted to mix it up. We're going to be throwing players in there as well, and producer Sam sitting there like, okay. And I believe before we were going over the show, Sam said he would do this trade in a heartbeat. Am I correct? He's giving me the yes. So here's the trade idea. And as a reminder, I want every single time I bring up one of these trades to let me know who y'all think wins, okay? If you think it's the Falcons, if you think it's the Broncos, please let me know. So the Falcons, they receive pick number 9, pick number 71 overall, and Drew Lock. The issue is this. If you're going to make this move, Denver that is, Drew Lock loses a lot of value. He simply does. But do I think Drew Lock could learn a lot behind a quarterback like Matt Ryan? Absolutely. Do I think if Drew Lock really embraced who he actually is instead of Brett Favre and embraced that he's more of a quarterback that's more of a game manager, he could learn a lot from a guy like Matt Ryan. So that's the trade idea. So let's say they go ahead and do this. Who are some players that I think could be available at number 9? Yes, you're seeing some familiar names because I just showed them, but some new names on here. Patrick Surtain. One of the biggest needs here is cornerback. There's no doubt about that. I was not very happy that the Falcons took A.J. Terrell at pick number 16 last year. Thought it was one of the biggest reaches in the first round. But if Patrick Surtain, and he's still on the board at number 9, you put A.J. Terrell, Patrick Surtain, your cornerback room looks a lot better. Let's go to the next football team here on our trade down partners list here for Atlanta, the Philadelphia Eagles. But Mitch, Philadelphia already traded down from 6. You're 100% right. But If you're Philly, you don't have a lot of money to be able to spend. You're probably trying to figure out a little bit of a rebuild here. But also, no disrespect to Jalen Hurts. He's not the quarterback you want to be starting. And if you can find that guy you think can be your franchise quarterback because you just got rid of Carson Wentz, maybe this is why you make this type of move here. So the Falcons, they get pick number 12. They get the Eagles' second-round pick at 37 and their third-round pick at 84. The Eagles receive the number 4 overall pick, and then you go ahead and take whoever the best quarterback is available. Because no disrespect to Jalen Hurts, that should not be your starting quarterback entering the year. If it is, I think you're going to be regretting that, no doubt about it. Plus, for the Eagles at pick number 12, not that they're in a weird area, but I also think that this is a team that needs a quarterback. They still have some other positions there of need, but I actually like this move a lot for both squads. So get your votes in here. What's the most likely team to end up trading up to the Atlanta Falcons? It doesn't have to be a team that I mention. It could be a team that I don't bring up. Like, guess what? There's a lot of other NFL teams out there. The NFL draft is super hard to predict. So get your votes in. Name another team that is the most likely to trade up. All right, y'all, who's gone ahead and downloaded the Newsbreak app? I'm hoping you already have. Go to chatsports.com/newsbreak. If you guys are looking to stay up to date on what's going on in your city, you can do that. You want to know the best spots to go eat some dinner, breakfast, lunch? You can also do that. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you live in Las Vegas, Dallas, Texas. It doesn't matter which zip code you're currently in. The Newsbreak app is perfectly for you. Go to chatsports.com/newsbreak and download the app. That way you can stay up to date on all things news, on weather, on politics, more sports content, and even some chat sports videos as well. So I'm going to put this link for y'all in the comments and in the description because I'm promising you this. You're not going to want to miss this out. So download the Newsbreak app. How do you do it? You got to go to chatsports.com/newsbreak. I'm going to say it again. You have to go to chatsports.com/newsbreak. It helps us out a lot. Once you go ahead and download the app, if you want more videos from Chat Sports, more exclusive content, you can find it. If you're a loyal watcher here to Chat Sports and you're like, wait a minute, how do I get more content? Look up in the search bar, Cowboys Report, Raiders Report, 49ers Report, whatever your favorite team is, search that and then click follow. You're going to get even more content from us. So get the Newsbreak app. I promise you, you won't regret it. So now let's look at some of the players that could be available to the Atlanta Falcons at number 12 if they did decide to trade back. I would be shocked if Penei Sewell's there, but I've seen enough mock drafts now where both Sewell and Slater are still on the board, and if one of those guys were there, I would pick up the phone so quick I might even break the phone trying to call it. Patrick Surtain definitely up there. J.C. Horn is definitely an option. And a player who continues to rise up my board, Jalen Phillips. Atlanta needs to find some edge rushers. No doubt about it. When I think about some of their biggest needs, I think of edge, I think of cornerback, I think of maybe not linebacker, maybe even throw out a quarterback, depending on what you think of Matt Ryan. But I really like Jalen Phillips a lot. Let's go to the next team here in terms of potential trade-down partners, the New England Patriots at number 15. Let's just say the Patriots have their quarterback in mind at number 3. What happens if he doesn't get taken and they're like, all right, here we go. We're just going to throw the entire farm to go get our guy. So you get number 15 if you're Atlanta. You get pick number 120 overall. It's a 4th-round pick. You get a 1st-round pick next year, which is basically a value of a 2nd-rounder this year, and then J.C. Jackson, cornerback. The New England Patriots put a 2nd-round tender on J.C. Jackson. So if you're sitting there, you're like, all right, so basically Atlanta gets two 1st-round picks, a 2nd-round pick, and a 4th-round pick. I mean, that's really good value to me, and Jackson could be a player that's be able to slot in right away and be a starting cornerback on this team. As a reminder, every trade that I show you, I want you to let me know what you guys have to say about it. So if that happens, who could be available at 15? The more and more mocks I see, I don't know if Slater will actually be there at number 15, but he's a player I wanted to mention. J.C. Horn, Jalen Phillips, Elijah Vera-Tucker I think would be a great fit since Atlanta still needs to be able to find different holes in that offensive line. And then Merrick. Merrick is probably the best free safety in this class. The fact that they lost Keon O'Neal, the fact that they let go of Ricardo Allen. So Trayvon Merrick is definitely a player that I think would be pretty interesting. All right, let's go to the last team here. I got the Chicago Bears. And anytime you're going to trade up, it's going to be a quarterback, at least to pick number 4, right? And there hasn't been a team that needs a quarterback more than Chicago. I mean, the best quarterback they've ever had is Jay Cutler. They've never had a quarterback throw for 4,000 yards. Maybe they think they can get a guy. So here's the deal, and it's a big one. And this one was actually cooked up by my man Harrison Graham, who runs our Bears channel. Go check him out, youtube.com/BearsNow. The Falcons received the 20th overall pick, a 2022 first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, so in 2021 and 2022, and then standout linebacker Roquan Smith. The Bears get the 4th overall pick. Do I think the Bears are giving up a little bit too much in this deal? Yes, I do. But if you think that you can get your quarterback, you go ahead and do it. The issue is anybody here going to believe that Matt Nagy and Ryan Pace can go ahead and get the right quarterback? I'll tell you what, I know I certainly do not. So let's just say the deal does end up happening. Here are some players to consider at number 20. Jalen Phillips, I do still think is on the board. Merrick's still there. Azeez Ojulari is a player that I know Atlanta likes a lot. And then another edge rusher out there is Kwity Paye. So one more time here. Here are some potential trade down partners that if Atlanta does get some phone calls, they do ultimately get some teams that are like, all right, we're interested in this. We got this as well. So go down in the comments. Let me know what you guys have to say about some of these ideas. So out of all the trades that I showed you, I know some involve some players, which maybe make them a little bit less realistic, but I didn't want to just give you the exact same thing every single time. I want to be able to, mix it up a little bit. So out of all the 5 trades that I just showed you, which do you think is the most realistic? If you think it's the Detroit Lions one, the first one, type 1. If you think it's the Broncos trade, type 2. Philadelphia Eagles trade, type 3. Patriots, type 4. Or the Chicago Bears, type 5.